Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of the Weekend Review, a little blog post where I go ahead and I look at what happened this last week in my blog, what's happened previously in the story that I'm going to post the next chapter for, and what's going to be coming next week. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at what happened in Beast Blades this past week. So Beast Blades, Aldrich has ambushed Apollos, Lucas, and Terra right after they find the legendary Beast Blade of Water. Lucas and Terra had some doubt sown into them about Apollos' past and that he wasn't who he was pretending to be by Aldrich himself. And so a fight ensued over the Beast Blade, and our heroes did not cooperate together very well. Apollos ended up fighting all by himself for the most part, and Terra and Lucas were in their own little pockets. So in Lucas's attempt to go and get some resources to summon Ferrum Lupus, he gets attacked by a different Beast Blade from one of Aldrich's captains, and he summons the legendary water Beast Blade, Rio Puto. And that was all that Aldrich was really waiting for. He comes over and he starts fighting Rio Puto with his sword, and he's able to quite easily take the Beast Blade out, and he then escapes with it down the river, leaving his two captains behind to fight for him. They manage to defeat these two captains, and then Apollos reveals his past to them, how he is the guardian of the Shadow Sanctuary, which means that it was his job to watch over the Beast Blade of Shadow. He failed at his job, obviously, because Geraldo, his son, ran off with Aldrich, who was his apprentice to become the next guardian of the Shadow Sanctuary. And unfortunately, Geraldo was corrupted by the Shadow Beast Blade, and he went from having a plan of protecting and uniting the country to making the country stronger so he could use it to take over the world. And then Apollos and Lucas and Terra all quickly run down the river after, actually they go in a wagon ride pulled by an earth elephant, which sounds mildly terrifying, but it worked in the story. They chase down General Aldrich, who is on a raft. A fight ensues on the raft, and Lucas is knocked into the river and washed away. And Apollos ends the chapter with his sword at Aldrich's throat. So, that was a look at what happened in Chapter 7, Beast Blades, this past week. Apollos Past. If you haven't checked it out yet, I'm going to go ahead and encourage you to do so. It should be posted on my index page or yesterday on Saturday in my regular feed. And now, for the part that some of you probably were waiting for, previously in Ahir, Guardian of Malor. Ahir was an acrobat. He was a street performer. That's how he made his money. That actually was only his day job. His real true purpose was fighting creatures from another dimension that came to invade our dimension, looking to gather a magical artifact, the Gladio Prodigat, which is the only weapon that can harm Avis Severum, which is what these creatures are. Their master, Lang Khan, wants the sword so he can kill his father and anyone else who gets in his way and become the new king of the Avis Severum world. They found out his plan, and Barbo, an Avis Severum who has taken on the form of a monkey in our world, retreated over here to protect the sword, gave the sword to Ahir to fight off any invaders, and the sword only works for Ahir. In anyone else's hands, it's not even sharp. It's just a blunt thing. It's more of a club than a sword. And along the way, they gather other people were given artifacts from the Ava Severum world to fight against these creatures. There was Milton, who was given the Puega Jorzi, which is a gravity bow. The way it works is you shoot one arrow, and that chooses your target. You shoot a second arrow, and that chooses what your target is attracted to. So, for example, if I shot a car with the first arrow, and I shot the ceiling of the parking garage, the car will be pulled toward the parking garage. So that's how that works. And then there was Trixie, who kind of has been stalking Ahir for a very long time, and finally gets involved with him on his quest. And she is given the Escudo Spiegel, which is, I actually forget what those words are supposed to mean, but it is a special shield that will reflect any attack back onto its source. So if someone shoots a fireball at it, it goes back at the person who shot it. If you punch it, the punch hits you instead. It's a very useful artifact for protecting and defense. Unfortunately, Milton goes off on his own. He wants nothing to do with it here, and he goes off and he has some very exciting fights on his own. Trixie and Ahir work together, trying to keep the place safe. And then finally, in the last chapter, Milton ends up going missing. He overhears his partner, Torjad, conversing with the main bad guy, Lang Khan, about how to bring Ahir down and get the Gladio Prodigates back into Lang Khan's hands. And so Milton figures out he's been used this whole time. Torjad has been poisoning him against Ahir so they wouldn't work together. And so Milton tries to attack Torjad. Torjad takes him down, and then Ava Severum come through, and they're kidnapping people. The main goal for these kidnappings is they want to release the humans in the Ava Severum world, because whenever anything goes through the portal, it transforms into a different creature, depending on what's in that person's heart, or Ava Severum's heart. And so they're letting these monsters loose on their world to attack cities and terrify these citizens, even though they can't actually hurt them. They're counting on these citizens using magic to defend themselves. Magic was discovered by Lang Khan. When he turned evil, he turned magic evil with him. Use magic enough times, it'll corrupt you and make you into his puppet. You completely follow him. And so his new plan is to kidnap Barbo, because then that'll make Ahir go berserk. He'll start using magic like crazy, trying to get Barbo back. And he's counting on that making Ahir become Lang Khan's puppet. Now, the main difference between if a human uses magic or if an Ava Severum uses magic is Ava Severum, he snaps, he just becomes extremely loyal to Lang Khan. Everything he does, he wants to do to advance Lang Khan's devices. Yes, devices. A human gets taken over by Lang Khan. Lang Khan can full-on possess them, and then he controls their body completely. And so Ahir does that. He snaps. He uses magic. He is corrupted. And Lang Khan finally has his hands on the sword he's been seeking since Chapter 1. Since before Chapter 1. And that is where the last chapter ends off. Lang Khan going back to his world. Now, this chapter is going to have our heroes finally going to the Ava Severum world and start making preparations to try and save Ahir and defeat Lang Khan. What are those preparations? What are their plans? How are they going to get there? And where was Milton? How did he survive Torjad's attack, and why was he missing? These are all questions that'll be answered in next week's post. And so now, for the final portion of this, the Ask Me Questions thing, we had someone write in, leave a comment on the last week's video, asking me why sometimes my posts don't seem quite so edited. And the answer for that is, I'm terrible with grammar and writing. I've always wanted to be a writer, and that's the main reason why I went to college and majored in creative writing. I was hoping that they could help me to improve my writing skills. They did bupkis. I feel that it was a complete waste, that I learned more from reading and practicing writing on my own than any of my teachers taught me. But that's my opinion. And so I usually have my friend, who I lovingly refer to as the Grammar Nazi, look over my posts for me and catch any little grammatical slips that I may have missed. Unfortunately, he, of course, is a human being with a job and friends and other activities that he enjoys, and sometimes he doesn't get a chance to edit them before they have to go up on my blog. So I do the best I can. To be honest, I still miss quite a few things and make a lot of mistakes. I'm getting better over time, though, so hopefully someday I will fully understand this craft I've chosen to pick up. I'm more of an idea man personally. But I hope that fully answers that question for you, sir. If anyone else has any questions, please feel free to comment them on this video. I will answer them in this section like this. Yeah, so go ahead, come back on Monday to check out the next chapter of Ahir, Guardian of Malor, which is coming to an end. I do not see more than 3, maybe 4 more chapters in the story. I could be wrong, but that means it should be done pretty much by the end of summer. So that's exciting. I do have an idea for a prequel involving Milton as a solo hero after all this happens. But we'll have to see if that happens or if I pick up a different project to work on. So yeah, that's it for this week. Thank you guys so much for coming out and checking this out. Please leave me a like and a comment to let me know that you watched this. And have yourselves all a great day, a great week, great month, great life. Whatever you have, just make it great. Okay? See you guys.